Greetings, peace. Taking this walk. Let's give honor to source, to the creator, most high, ancestors, for the highest good of all, making all this possible. Delayed gratification. Give gratitude, man. Give gratitude. I always tell my message to younger man, will be coming up and growing in the world, especially to men now. If there's anything I'm learning about when I reference the old world or the old narrative, it has a lot to do with like performing. I believe this, I mentioned this before, but performing and trying to feel like you gotta perform for everything to get what it is that you want or what it is that you desire. Man, I'm telling you, that's bullshit. I thought it was in my cars to do a lot of things, not just as an athlete. But I'm realizing like a lot of the things of the divine will take you right into the belly of the beast just to see this shit ain't for you. It was never for you. I sent you to do greater things. I sent you to do things that it may look similar to what's familiar to the world, but I sent you on a different mission. We'll pause for a brief intermission. So yeah, I had to take a little detour, but get back to what I was saying. And you know what? And that's the message right there. Life will make you, like, detours are not horrible. Detours are not horrible. It's not horrible at all. How could I get into this, man? It's not even, sometimes I'm not even able to put into words because of so much has been unfolding so beautifully. Like, we think we want something, but when I reference, like, the Most High say, no, you need this. There's too many one-dimensional things when it comes to, especially growing up where you feel like you had to go one direction or one option was only given to you, especially like sports or certain things, and it seems like that's the only outlet. That's the biggest illusion, bro. That's the biggest fucking scam. I think what gets me every day is where I realize some people will be, and it has even nothing to do with them. It's just what the world has normalized. Some people will give off this superior complex and try to make you feel inferior because you are doing exactly what you want in life. Let me reference even my experience with having experienced the shelter. The shelter experience in itself was something the shelter experience even in itself was something that I realized, like I've said before, that it bothered a lot of people when I stood in my truth, when I said I came to a place because of so many things that I was facing that they knew nothing about, not just energetically speaking, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And I know better than anybody like what the depths of that is. So I don't expect people to even understand, comprehend, or understand exactly why it is. I feel more of a CEO aspect rather than an employee. Now, to even make those decisions, that doesn't still mean I don't stay persistent or consistent in my journey, my pursuits, even through my like self-discovery. Meaning like you never stop getting to know yourself. I feel like that was the biggest fucking illusion cast upon everybody. It's like when you give people all these different things, avenues, or even places where I feel even certain things are just led to dead ends, which dead ends to me is a place of self-destruction, self-sabotage, which really leads you just to a place of self-discovery, meaning that you just find a way to reinvent yourself. So when I'm referencing even the experience of the shelter, for those of you who don't know, I had an experience of being in the shelter in Ohio. And, I found out like that was one of like the biggest shelters in the U.S. But I say that to say this is that just to see people from so many different perspectives, everyone has a different perception on life. Some people, this is all they have. Some people, this is all they have is to be there. I've seen in circumstances where you will see people accumulate. And this is not coming from a judgmental space. This is coming from like showing you so many different perspectives on life to where it's so vital how one of the affirmations I was telling myself a minute ago is knowing the importance of knowing that you are enough. And I don't mean just enough for who you are, but enough for the experience that you came here. Whoever you are, wherever you are enough. I am enough. I am enough to come here and experience this. I am enough to rise above all opposition that was before I came here into this world, and even after I leave. Like, the world will fuck. It ain't even the world will know who the fuck I am. Do I know who I am? You know how many people left this fucking world not knowing who they are and even their purpose? Do you know how deep this is? How many people you know? So, it's cold out here. And my lips is, y'all bear with me, but I say that to say like, bro, in that experience, I was seeing people, because I really had to battle with myself of realizing not everyone is me, thinks like me, but also moves like me. Hey, I'm just being real and raw. I got to get that cold out. But I also had to be aware that how much that has to be, I have to be mindful and protect that. Because when people don't know who they are, when they don't move with purpose, then sometimes they can unhealthily attach themselves to people who try to move with purpose. And sometimes unconsciously, we're not even aware of what we're doing. And that can stem from childhood development, childhood things and so forth. I don't want to go too deep into that. But what I'm starting to develop is a lot of compassion for myself, self-compassion. When I say I am enough, I'm enough not only to live this life and fulfill my purpose or live in my purpose. I am enough to rise above the fact of where I was surrounded by people who didn't feel like I was enough. I'm telling myself, like, what exact way am I supposed to live if life in itself is about self-discovery? That leads me to realizing it's okay to be a late bloomer, bro. This is something I've been accepting more and more about the foundation that I've been rebuilding that does not look familiar to the world, to my mother, to my father, to anybody else, because everyone's perspective is different on what my foundation should be, how it should look, what the details, the structures, and so forth. Do you hear what I'm saying? Everyone, and all of that really stems from whatever they've experienced or whatever belief system they have. Everyone in the world has a different perspective of you. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? You will have 20 people sit here right now, and depending on their religious belief, depending on their lifestyle, depending on their upbringing, you will not agree on everything. You will not, and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. And everyone will tell you they will have a different perspective on how you should live your life. And you tell me, above all of that shit, what do you think matters the most? I'll tell you how you feel about yourself. When I had to realize, it took me 36 years to realize I am enough. I had to realize that. I gifted myself this. I know I keep showing, I have to show, listen, I went and got this ring the other day. It really reflects who I am, this snake ring. And the reason I got this is to remind me of those who do follow, is it Chinese astrology, but even if we're in the snake year, the snake goes through shedding. The snake goes through so many different aspects of life to realize, if it doesn't shed, it will die. Or even the fact of how it navigates through life. And, there's other different perspectives of bad or negative, whatever you want to call it, connotations on it, whatever it is. That doesn't even matter. It's the beauty of the fact of how sacred the snake is. Again, that's polarity or duality to everything. My experiences have been showing me that shedding happens in every moment or in different seasons of your life. How you adapt to life. How you try to navigate through life. How that relationship with yourself and with other people. So many different things about how you move through life that matters. And that's the thing about the importance of balance. So for me, I'm telling myself, when I was telling you about the shelter experience, I was seeing so many different perspectives where it fueled me. It revealed so many parts of myself where I had to protect myself, where I had to realize I had to move away from people. I had to get away from people that I was familiar with. And with me, it was still, what was familiar also was that if you've been, going with me, venturing with me on this journey, on YouTube and so forth, you just now coming in, I appreciate you, shout out to you. But anywho, I'm getting so much more clarity, even the fact of how being in an adult body or being in adulthood, going back to that late bloomer aspect. Late bloomer is the fact of I've spoken about this before, how people can peak very early, when it comes to popularity or influence or whatever type of world at that time we're living in, depending on our age. People can peak differently. People can show up, and then what I'm not going to do is sugarcoat shit and tell people oh, I'm going to influence you to live the life that I'm doing. Absolutely not. That's not what this is about. And if I come off like that, or if I said anything that I wasn't aware of, which I can't really say, but because I don't recall even trying to influence people to do things like that. Because I've always said that a true leader leads you back to yourself, meaning that you coming back home to yourself, guiding you back to you through all your experiences. So for me, I was telling myself late blooming is so vital. Delayed gratification. When you think you're supposed to get something right then and there, the divine wants to take your ass through more and more experiences because you're not emotionally secure for that financial blessing yet. You think you're ready for this, and then let's say if you even get it, have you been aware of the patterns? This ain't even about perfection. This is about the fact that we did not come here to suffer. The unhealthy attachment comes through suffering, I feel. to the idea of feeling like I have to even attach myself to somebody else's problem, someone else's belief system, and so forth. So when I see influencers or seeing people out here, I'm realizing, like the divine said, I don't want you to be nothing like that for a reason. Yeah, they might have a following. They may reach these people and so forth. But your message is different. And what's for you is for you. And who's for you is for you. And sometimes that could be this lifetime or the next. It could be that deep. Because we think we're supposed to get stuff right then and there. No. I want to show you who these people are. I want to show you their hearts. I want to show you their patterns. I want to show you their belief systems. I also want to reveal to you, probably in a dream state or in you know, whatever it is that you are gifted with. I want to show you the importance of why I've had you been so secluded, or why that contract didn't fall through, or why that business, you know, that partnership or certain things didn't fall through. I want to show you this. Because while you think that you were supposed to bloom right in front of them, no, I was keeping you, I was protecting you. And most importantly, when you can protect yourself. And sometimes we don't even know how to protect ourselves. I was sitting here thinking like, bro, I'm grateful to be a late bloomer. I used to feel so much shame and guilt around the fact, and this had nothing to do with nobody else. This was the experience of growing up with a lot of people who were insecure, who did not feel like they were enough to be really who they are. And when I'm recognizing this old world, that's all this shit is. I see a whole bunch of millions of people, whether they're influencers, celebrity, whatever it is. When I look at that old world narrative shit, bro, I was telling someone, I'm like, man, that shit was never built on protecting you, protecting your essence. And that's even people who came into high status or certain status, money or whatever it is. It was literally exposing them. I see, from my perspective, I was telling someone, I see these people who are getting exposed and so forth, no judgment. I just see the fact of how they still was exposed from childhood into adulthood into a certain status, and they still were exposed to certain vices. They still was exposed to certain principalities, spiritual shit. They still were exposed to things. We didn't grow up in a... People acting like our worlds were protected. No, that's why I'm grateful for being a late bloomer. Because my late blooming ass can appreciate the slow grind, the slow motion through life. And I don't mean that life just forces you to slow down physically. Life will, man, once you, that healing shit, that shit forces your ass to slow down mentally, to see stuff. I was just expressing to my partner, I said, you know, there's this big hype around certain things like the documentary and all this other stuff. See, and then you know what? We have an issue with, I mean, we have a big problem with, as humans, we look with eyes of conviction and judgment. We've all been there, without really seeing the inner child in people. These are folks that have been exposed very young. We don't know how to look from the lens of on layers. We don't know how to look at it at layers. Some people know what I'm talking about. We don't know how to look at shit from layers because guess what? We never looked at ourselves like that. Or we never had no one in our childhood to look at that from layers. We've been around or been in a system that's crumbling that always look on the surface. So now it's like a gardener going up, especially in this season where it depends on where you are in the hemisphere. In the winter in the west, it's like you gotta pull up, you gotta let those old weeds and all certain things die out because of the cold weather. And it almost like it puts a hope on things. It makes people sit, it makes people rest, or it makes people reflect. This season, depending on where you at, the cold weather make your ass reflect. It'll make you sit down. It'll make you, like, I look at different things from different perspectives, bro. I see people getting their karma. That's all that is for me. I'm seeing people get their karma just as I would or anybody else. They have the opportunity to get it right, to do it, to walk a righteous path, or to cleanse themselves, to do something completely different. And who the fuck are we to throw the stone? I ain't. I'm just gonna call, like I said, bro, listen, they ain't the only one. There's a lot of people you don't know behind the scenes. A lot of stuff is being uprooted behind the scenes. I told you, we're in the garden. So you can be able to see certain fruit that you've never seen before, certain flowers. People in life, to me, represent flowers, fruits. And you'll be easily to tell by their patterns, by what they do and so forth. You know what's so amazing about this shit? You know what's so amazing about this? Is that even when I'm not here, you'll be able to see the fruit from your children. The children that you co-create, you'll be able to see the fruit of the labor, of the patterns. That's what's so amazing about this. Y'all forgetting the bigger picture. Even if you don't have kids, I'm still speaking to the children. Even if you're an adult, I'm still speaking to the inner child in you. A lot of those people that y'all quick to throw the judge at, and or quick to throw the stone at and so forth. I mean, hey, it's a lot of ways to look at it. Like I said, from coming from a place of self-compassion, I'm not saying people don't deserve what they're getting. I'm saying that I'm not the one to judge, in a sense of like there's divine judgment and there's justice where some of us are not meant to step in, because a lot of us are literally walking karma for people. Some people really wanted to be a part of music industry, athletics, and all that shit, bro. Y'all seeing why certain movies, certain stuff is coming out about a lot of this stuff? Because, man, that was not it. You're gonna realize, start walking back this way, you're gonna realize why the importance of being a late bloomer is so vital. Whole time you wanted to be a part of this. You think you wanted to be a part of that until you start learning the depths of that shit, what it's connected to, who it's connected to, and so forth. Folks gonna hide their hand for so long. Now let me go back to the shelter experience. A lot of things where, again, perspective, where you start to realize, like, I was seeing it like, dang, you seeing people in there. I was like, dang, I see there's no difference in people out in the world right now. You'll be able to sit down and certain things will be revealed to you, because you'll be thinking like, oh, you want to go live this life and be out there. Wow. Some shit is crashing and crumbling, so you don't. That's for your protection. And whole time, I'm sitting here like, man, I thought I gotta be. No, that's for your protection. The Most High has a way of sitting your ass down, sitting you down. Certain things happen in your life just for you to really pay attention, not to be distracted, for you to pay attention. You thought you was finna be here and do this and do that. You thought the league, you thought this was gonna be like this. You thought you was supposed to go here. Whole time you thinking like, oh, I gotta be a part of this. No, you don't. And then you're gonna see why. We don't give enough gratitude to that. Oh, I thought I was supposed to be a part of this. Man, listen. There's a lot of new moments that be revealed when, even the fact of like, I was finna force stuff. I thought I was gonna have to be a part of certain events. Oh, I had to force this and force that. And I'm sitting here like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Because you don't know what and who and what is waiting on you there. Type shit. If you know, you know. You don't know what's waiting on you there. Folks hoping you pop up, do something. Whole time, man, this 9 year, has been, man, I'm telling you, this 9 years been one for the making, boy, because coming the year coming, that one year is gonna be even more amazing. You're gonna see why certain things had to end. You're gonna see why certain connections, partnerships, so many things had to end. So many things had to be revealed. Reaching a higher level, higher awareness of things. So I told myself, I'm like, man, seeing those people in certain in that shelter experience, bro, you be like, wow, this is all they had. In their mind, this is all they will have. And this is where I had to tell myself, this is not all I have. This is a transition. This is something that I had to be grateful for. This is a part of slowing down, even if it don't make sense to nobody. This is a part of why adapting come in. This is a part of shadow work. Shadow work, this is a part of healing. This is a part of facing certain things where at a point in your life, you thought you were supposed to face your fears or do it in front of people. You thought you were supposed to keep performing. Oh, I got to prove to mama this. I got to prove. Man, that old world on proving shit, that shit is done. That old world on performance. Performing for who? I'm telling you, boy. This shit is hilarious, boy. When I realized, like, one of the greatest things I've said here and accepted is how much, like, valuing, not just being present, but, like, experiencing, being in good health, being healthy mentally, prioritizing the things that no money can pay for. Prioritizing self, enjoying your kids, even in the company of people who are against themselves, even in the presence of people who don't know how to love themselves, coming into the awareness of like, man, why would I trust people who don't show any signs of loving themselves? Moving away from people like that and moving into a world and aligning with people who do. Who align with things that are genuine. I'm telling you, it's an amazing experience, boy. I said, that shit right there for me, it's like I said, to each their own. Like I said, to see, bro, this, like I said, this is just my little hot take on it. Man, like, how normal how normal is that, like, for people? We really try to convince ourselves and kids to think that you got to get all this status or do all these things just to feel seen or just to be valued in a world full of insecure ass people. I mean, the insecurities are so loud. Not even just insecurities, but people who don't even feel valuable. Who have to show everything. How haven't we all been a part of this shit? Man, this shit is so hilarious to me, bro. It's okay being a late bloomer, man. They late bloomer be fucking protection. I'm sitting here like, bro, that shit be protection. I'm telling you, think you want a certain life whole time? Like, I want to show you, like, that ain't it. Man. And the forces at play make you think, like, oh, you gotta have this life. You want to be happy. Man, what the fuck? But let me tell you something. It's okay to live a private life. I'm going to tell you that now. See, a lot of us, it was very difficult because we couldn't see beyond the veil, especially growing up in the trenches or growing up in the hood and certain things. You only had certain things that feel like there was only one way out. But I'm telling you, building this shit, like building your own foundations, your structures, I had to sit there and reflect like, hold on, bro. You're doing it. Even when you think you're not doing it, you can start the simplest things. One thing I always valued in life, is my nose running? Dang. Did it freeze? I think my nose was running and it froze. The snot froze. Well, I'm gonna tell you one of the most valuable things is I realized is that I had to reflect the other day, and I realized, like, bro, I've been slowly building, bro. This is real and raw y'all gonna get. That's probably shea butter or snot. I don't know. I don't care. But one of the realest, rawest things I've been doing is realizing, like, even through the most uncomfortable times with the books, the art, and so forth, it's the consistency, bro. And even with that, you're still building foundations on authenticity. You're still building a foundation upon truth. You're still building a foundation upon loving yourself, even through the moments where it seems like all the odds are stacked up against you, bro. Do you not hear what the fuck I'm saying? Everyone can't do that. Everyone not built for that. People will fucking crumble. People will cave in. And then you're going through so many different emotions. Nah, but like I was saying, like, everybody not willing to go through like all those different emotions to get to that place of security, that place of inner security. Like, you know how many fucking insecurities or emotions I had to go through to be to where I am, to confidently now, to not even just feel like I'm enough, but it's the whole aspect of realizing, like, I don't owe no one shit. Nothing. And I feel like that's where that success aspect comes in, where a lot of people hit that breaking point of, like, you could call it enlightenment or awareness or like really surrenderance, is realizing, like, I'm really here to just enjoy myself, to however that looks like, and that not being determined or dictated by someone else. No external validation, no external force, no nothing. Like, I really thought that a motherfucker had power over me. And if you pay attention and become more aware, you realize, like, you have to give your power over. And when I see certain structures that have been in place, I'm like, bro, you really have to give your power over to something. And when I even think about like policing, when I think about certain structures, they're literally built off like everything but inauthenticity. When I say fear, it's like, think about people who want to make it so much that they fear they don't make it. And you think that these structures or these things that are in place are not fueled off that shit? I mean, it's like people say, oh, I got to meet a certain celebrity. I got to meet a certain person. I won't make it. Man, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I like, it's just something that clicked in me today. I was like, bro, I already made it. What do I mean? I made it where I'm at now. Do you not realize, like, for some of us, especially me, bro, when you hear motherfuckers say, like, yo, I was not supposed to make it at 21. I wasn't supposed to make it to 18, bro. Like, that shit real. And what I mean by that, like, that's your own, sometimes own conviction, or sometimes not even just that. It's just the fact of, like, how the narrative is pushed on so many things, how so many limited beliefs are pushed upon people, not just people that are darker, but people that are darker in certain, because it's not all people that are darker. Let me make that clear. Everyone in different demographics, countries, and so forth. The energy is different. Their perception is different. The language is different. That makes their warfare completely different. That makes their experience completely different. So for someone to speak on the experience of being darker in a certain country, like, that you never lived in, respectfully, bullshit. Fuck that, because you will never know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you live in somewhere where they're not driving, and then you don't know the experience of being someone who's darker to have lived with that instinct or like innate fear of being, like, possibly. Like, I had to tell my partner, I was like, the other day, like, I'm gonna tell you what growth is, bro. Driving and realizing when you see a police, like, some people don't know, like, I tell her, like, you would never know that, but that doesn't mean you have to feel like guilty or shame that I think that's one thing I had to people have to really get like change the narrative of this self-defeat perspective on life. It's like, can you imagine coming out of your mother's womb and you already have this like self-defeated narrative? I feel like that's the curse or the spell that has been eliminated from the structures in place that have wanted to make people feel that they are already defeated just because they don't have a certain status. They're not known by certain people. They're not a part of a certain coven or club or certain shit. That's absolutely horseshit. You've already made it. I've already made it. Like, just by being a day over, 36, I made it. Now my focus is to make it wherever I need to go next. And that's not determined on nobody else. I literally have a quote on the wall. It says, hold tight to the vision. Hold tight to the vision because you are, hold on. Hold tight to the vision. Trust the process. Only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. What does that mean? No one can do it for me. That means respectfully. That doesn't mean people won't support me, but no one can do, no one person, being that I have my own mind, I have my own thoughts, I have my own ability to do certain things. I mean, look at people. Like, it's an honor to be amongst people or have been amongst people who don't have all 5 or 6 senses. And they're able to do things. There's something beyond me or beyond all of us to even, for something powerful for them to even have the courage, to have the victory. That is victory. I'm literally walking in victory. I've overcome. I've done it. I am a successful artist. And it's more than just an artist. I am a successful speaker. Meaning that one view, I successfully spoke or reached one person. I don't have to be known in the world, internationally, globally. I was telling someone, I'm like, I am already that. I'm not concerned about the views. But being that the influence on how social media or certain things want to influence people from a place of fear or insecurities, like, if they don't have this, they're not accomplished. Man, I had little kids. I had my own cousins years ago before I even had my YouTube, like, not even 2 years. It was like, whoa, you're viral because of the certain, like, over, like, 1 or 2K views I had on a short. And they were like, you're famous. And I don't like the word because I don't subscribe to certain things. Because I just break down the etymology of words. Even when I look at the word famine or fame, like, I feel like that, I don't know. That's just my opinion on things is completely different. But for them to even say that, it's just like, I was just like, at a time, would get caught up on, and that wasn't even just the individual. Well, it was an individual thing, but I realized it's sometimes a collective aspect. Like, everyone's so focused on being big as a content creator rather than being a creator that creates content. Catch that shit. Notice how they changed it. Now it's content creating rather than you as a creator or co-creator, whatever you subscribe to, creating the content. The reason why this is so vital is that you realize that everything starts with you, your imagination. Everything starts with you. You know what I'm saying? So with that, that's something within me that had to get the courage to, get this canvas, whatever adversity, whatever dollar amount that I had to go get this, or even ask for the support, and then get the courage, even whatever emotion and shit that I was going through, and put pen to paper. When you hear that saying goes that I don't think folks realize, like, I heard this earlier. It said, let a sleeping dog lay. I don't think y'all realize when I say divine intervention right now is happening. I don't think people realize, like, what people have awakened in people. When I say I'm pissed, I'm pissed off, or the people should be pissed off more or angry at the fact of how much we've been, like, how much we've lied to our fucking self. It ain't that people have lied to us, how much we've lied to ourselves. How, like, that should anger you to even want to create even more. And when I say this, when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna do it. That should anger you even more, the fact of like how I told you I spoke on the shelter experience, where like you use that anger, that righteous anger, that frustration, and then seeing how certain things want you to put your energy towards something else rather than putting it towards creating. I saw a video today, the sister was like, creators, people with imaginations create more positions than what you see systematically. Because think about people who didn't have that spark. Think about people who didn't have that spark, whether you're in entrepreneurship or you're a creator. Think about people who didn't have that spark to create something. Do you not realize that is a ripple effect to create more positions or create more creators or co-creators, or put people in position to create from their place of creation, from their imagination? Why do you think this is such a, like, I'm not even finna get distracted on AI and stuff like that, because it has its purpose. But let me tell you something. AI for me is authentic intelligence. That cannot be ever removed from me in my DNA and whatever. I am AI, authentic intelligence. That's what I am. Emotional intelligence and so forth. AEI, authentic emotional intelligence. No one can take that from you. Being a creator, being a part of being a co-creator, like literally being a channel for the divine or creating something, do you not realize that's where your imagination comes from? You as a child, you still haven't, as an adult, to even the fact of like, when I say seeing people in the shelter, like that experience of seeing people like they really feel like that's all they have, it just reflects to me like they have limited beliefs. That should fuel me. That should anger me. And I don't mean like I'm angry at what they're doing. No, I'm saying like, bro, y'all have the ability to do certain things, but let me not attach myself to that. Let me actually realize, like, you know what? That should just be like, you know, it should be like disgusting to even think that you want to even stay or be in or a part of things, but also more importantly, stay consistent and persistent. Like, there is no limitations on like I'm telling you, man, like, it ain't, you'll hear like your time is, bro, the time is now, the present. I'm telling you, man, what was I just saying a minute ago about, it was something else I was speaking about. I wanted to go into depth about it. But man, y'all, bro, I'm trying to tell you, this shit is deep. Being a late bloomer is amazing. Because a part of self-discovery is like, there's going to be there's so many parts of you on the healing journey. What I recognize is like, there's so many more parts to me to where I'm going to dive more into. I'll listen to other people. Like, they say they want to create this, they want to create that. And I'm saying like, you know what? Me too. But when I say me too, I mean like, but how could I do it in my own authentic way? The world will convince you to do everything like everybody else. When our moments as creators, or like people who are authentic, who are paving the way for children after us to live confidently and comfortably in their skin and who they are, no matter how they show up in the world, no matter how weird they're called and how, you know, so many different things. It's just like, they're not harming people. If they're just being, you know, loving on themselves and being compassionate and just being authentic, what's your issue with it? The only issue people have with that are people who reflect the opposite of that. And that's their fucking problem. I'm learning more and more. I'm like, bro, I see why, you know, a part of this inner child thing has a lot to do with protecting that. I keep reminding y'all of that. Like, the veil is lifted, but also like you see things are going to become clear and clear as part of these transits and everything. I'm like, man, I see so much through a lot of the illusions of what the world is trying to give us. Like, is this the influence? What is that influencing? And man, this shit is so, the energy is so like things are so loud right now, but it's, even when you see people not being who they are, it's so loud still. It's like, whoa. Can I be in a place where I'm learning again to be more the observer rather than trying to absorb? And so I'm like, man, this shit is like, whoa. It was something else I was getting into. What was I saying in a minute ago? It'll come to me probably as soon as I get off the phone, because I probably just supposed to do this much. But man, let me tell y'all something. Late blooming, it's okay, bro. You think, people have a hard time with thinking that they're supposed to get things right then and there. And I feel like that's why a lot of people go so hard and they don't have to. And this is my perspective on that. That confidence that you're rebuilding within yourself, that self-esteem and so forth, and as you rebuild that, that's what I was getting into. Like that illusion of realizing, like, you think you just, bro, I've already made it. That's what being present is. It's like, I am everything. I've already made it. Like, when I mean when I'm talking about successful, it's a successful writer. I successfully wrote a book with my art on it. I'm a successful artist. That means one person purchased it. Guess what? I successfully completed something. You see how fucking deep that is, bro? But there's this comparison to monetary things. Being that you think you got to live above the means or live a certain lifestyle just for it to what? Be deemed as successful? That's fucking ridiculous. It's ignorant. It's so ignorant because, man, I'm telling you, you'll see folks out here, bro, little to nothing and be so grateful and smiling. Like, they don't have to have all the material stuff, man. I'm learning that daily, like, just to even be in the presence of my children, I'm realizing, like, I don't have to push that stuff on them. My daughter is a brilliant artist. My son is a brilliant speaker. It's like just to hear them just confidently express joy. That wasn't a world that allowed our children to do that or allowed us to do that per se. We had parents or caregivers, guardians, whatever you want to call them, because they didn't know the importance of prioritizing or people around them. I've talked before, like co-regulating, supporting them in co-regulating their emotions. So they don't know how to manage them. They don't know how to control them. So I've spoken about like the war consciousness and, people having this battle in their minds over black and white. War consciousness can look like people, what you see displayed in the world, which is it's opposite of like the oneness or even the opposite of things really being in harmony. And it's become clear because I thought I was supposed to be a part of certain things like, so much competitiveness and ego. When you see this man versus woman or this versus this, so many different energies or so many different things that is versus. And again, it just breeds or fuels more warlike aspect like violence or, things that, again, folks don't, you realize like folks are really conflicted with themselves. And then on a higher perspective, dealing with energies and principalities and spiritual shit, like you talking about the fact that like folk really like will go to war over a team. People will go to war over religion. Folk will go to war over territory. Folks will go to war over where you grew up in, flag. Folks will go to war over the fact of how, the simplest shit. They'll go to war over their emotions. Hey, I'm going. I guess I'm just, hey. And it's like, but man, I'm starting to realize like, man, folk don't really, you are coming, you can get something in life and folk be at war with themselves and feel like they got to bring it into your life. Man, protect yourself. Do you hear what the fuck I just said? Folks will be at war with themselves and find any reason to be at war with you. Protect yourself. And as a generational curse breaker or cycle breaker, you're really just changing the pattern so the equation can come out completely different. Removing yourself, doing certain things. I'm like, bro, fuck nah, bro. God, when I look at this country, in certain countries, it's a war consciousness. Think about this now. Let's go a little deeper. Collectively, When you look at how people are really against themselves or how they haven't met the depths of themselves and how they don't really get to know who they are, and then you go on a deeper level ancestrally, you're dealing with war consciousness. You're dealing with a perspective on life, how people just seem to be at odds with each other all the fucking time. And then on the spiritual level, it's the same thing. On a deeper level, spiritual warfare and shit like that. People dealing with stuff in their lineage. Don't let you be the one trying to break free and break cycles. They at war with you because you trying to do something completely better and different. Motherfucker, like, why? Why? You mad at me because I don't want to walk the same fucking path that's uncomfortable? And I don't mean just uncomfortable. It's just like that literally creates a path of discomfort and dis-ease and so forth. So with that, even the one who are cycle breakers, you go through that path just to recognize this shit ain't for you. So you mad at that. Okay, well, you be at war with yourself wherever you are. That's cool. I'm okay with that. Because over here, I realized like what success means to you ain't the same over here. I successfully beat the odds by getting the fuck away from you and whomever else who tried to give me this perspective on life, whether it's through gaining some type of degree, kissing ass at certain people, whether that be pastors, community, politics, and so, nah. Whether you think I'm supposed to kiss up to grandma because they want to protect predators and all like that, nah. That ain't a successful relationship. That ain't a healthy relationship. That is a failed mission. That is a failed relationship. That is unhealthy attachments. I'm calling a spade a spade. I successfully departed from your ass. So, anywho, what else I was getting to? So yeah, man, yeah, I really feel like the deepest and biggest thing that any human that battles with, depending on where they are right now presently, is what I really see what's becoming and forecoming already is you're going to see a lot of people who are naturally going to be free thinkers. A lot of these children that are coming in, ushering in and coming in this world, as we break cycles and change cycles, they are going to naturally be authentic. They are naturally going to think on a higher awareness, be more, aggressive in their approach to be who they are, to be authentic, to change the narrative, to not want to feel like they got to get acceptance from other people. See, I got to realize when forces are at play like that, man, shit don't want you to realize, like, you should think for yourself. You should actually go build for yourself. You should love yourself. You should cycle breaking will have you loving those parts of yourself that things in your lineage or whenever you was coming up in having you believe like, nah, that's not possible. I'm telling you, when I say I am enough, that means like confidently realizing like at a time there are things they want me to believe. And that was beginning in the womb of my mother. That was also like knowing how the patterns of my father and my mother and people in my family. I don't know people know that they are enough because when I look at their patterns, it doesn't display that. So why would I sit here and fool myself and believe like they know that they're enough? Because if they did, they would move differently. They wouldn't be around the same people. They wouldn't continue the same behavior patterns. No, it's important for our children, especially us, to know like you are enough. You came here to know that with being enough and being confident in who you are, then you don't have to dim your light from that self-expression beaming from the inside out, not the outside in. You never needed nobody acceptance or validation to be who you are. Like, who the fuck? I don't need no celebrity, nobody to be like, oh, you're supposed to be this, so you got to go by this name, or you got to go over here and do this. What? Do y'all not realize how much cycles, patterns we are breaking? To realize how important it is to live sovereign, to be authentic, to love yourself. You know how confident you have to be? You know how much sacrifice that takes? The confidence and courage that takes? You know how much that is for people to be on that mission and realize like sometimes they have to be that, and I'm going to use this word like in the sense of like, I don't want to just say like because I know oversaturation of the word sacrifice, but I mean in a way of like how much they had to, with courage and confidence, to navigate through, to sacrifice, as in a sense of like let go of, rid themselves of, to walk such an authoritative path. Some of y'all are natural leaders. Some of you are naturally have the ability to lead your way out of situations without the support of others. And some people, like, they despise that. Some people, by you naturally having leadership, by you naturally having confidence, that pisses so many people on and off or whatever. They admire that deep down. That's just like, again, inwardly, like, you have to also have that admiration for yourself. If you don't love yourself, then you have to realize like you have hated parts of yourself. So you don't see yourself, you don't admire the parts of you that you need to learn to love and accept. That's one thing I had to realize. Like, man, I thought as a late bloomer, blooming later in life, I thought I had to have a house at 25 or 30. I thought I had to have certain things or this and that because I was at a certain age, because that's what statistics would show, or that's what, so much has been, again, those that know, like, so much has been deprived for certain people, or so many things have been, how could I say, resources have not been available, or certain things, misinformation or confusion and so forth. And that's the thing that's been restored, is that clarity on a lot of these things, or us to realize like, no, these things are divine intervention. This happens purposely because you were supposed to assume that you were supposed to get this and get that. Again, everyone's reality is not the same. Everyone's experience is not the same. But certain things are just not your purpose, and certain things were not for you to just, it was protection in that, and with that, I had to start accepting, like, realizing what vision was I given, not what my mom or somebody else perceived that I should be doing. I realized like a lot of what I was sent here to do or doing, does it bring me more peace? Does it bring me harmony? Does it give me clarity? That's why I had to ask myself, like, what am I building upon? Does it really not even make me happy? Is it stemming from happiness? Is it rooted in happiness? And once you start to realize, like, a lot of what people do, that shit ain't coming from no happy place. It ain't coming from a place of authenticity. It ain't coming from a genuine place. And stay clear. Be discerning. Love yourself. Be authentic. And keep getting to know yourself. And then in that knowing thyself, you'll be able to learn to navigate life, and it'll be more pleasurable, blissful, and so forth. I think that's all I want to cover today. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings. Shalom.